Yeah. Codependency is one of the biggest ones. So living in a reactionary relationship with life.
You want me to come on in and hang out and sit down for a little bit? You okay?
Oh, I didn't like.
Yeah, no, we're just recording.
Hi. I know, but I didn't want to.
You're fine. You want to sit down and just like watch for a little bit?
Yeah, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah. Sharika, this is Ashley.
Hi, Sharika. Nice to meet you.
I told me to come in. But
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on over and sit down. There's a chair right there. Yeah, just go ahead and take a seat. We're good. We can edit. Oh, don't
you're great.
Don't worry about it.
No worries.
Yeah. Are you okay for a few minutes, just hanging out for a little bit? Yes. Cool. So we were talking about different levels, different states, lower states, and we're talking about recovery from addiction. And all of these things presuppose that we all agree on what we're talking about addiction. So even when we talk about the stages, you and I talked earlier, I don't think we need to suss out the idea of addiction too much right now, aside from the fact that there's a couple different ones. You had also indicated there was a third that you had learned from one of your teachers about what addiction was. What was her definition of addiction?
So this is Nikki Myers, and she created Yoga for 12-Step Recovery, an amazing woman, amazing program. I was blessed to take that program over the summer. And her definition is addiction is the disease of the lost self, which is just like mic drop. It's so beautiful. And she also teaches that codependency is one of the sources, if not the source, because we are spiritually codependent, right? That's like that deeper level of insatiableness on the inside. And Buddhism calls it the realm of the hungry ghosts. Okay. And I'll even say sometimes raise your hand to the group if you realized that your substance of choice was never enough, and every hand goes up. It is a hole that cannot be filled.
Yeah, trying to find safety, almost comfort where you can't find it elsewise.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't having these conversations, and I think there's a disconnect between the people that are in the process and recognize that part of their life is burning down in a way that's going to be rock bottom, in a way that we don't want rock bottom to hit, right? And it's like everybody else is actually, quite frankly, they have a bit of a curse, right? Because if you've got a drug addiction that's going to kill, that might be killing you very soon, you know that it's an emergency. But if you're in a loveless marriage, raising a bunch of kids and just surviving, but because you have a house and a roof over your head and you got, electricity and you have a job that can pay the bills, there's a lot of people that are in that situation that it's not quite bad enough to change. And then you never actually get a chance to have that opportunity, So it's like, I just wish the people that on both sides of the aisle, we always want what we don't have, right? The old joke was women with curly hair want straight hair, women with straight hair want curly hair, right? With men with bald heads, I wish I just didn't have any hair. But what's the disconnect between the people that don't have the really, really damaging, dangerous, avoidant benefit of the addiction versus the people that do? How do we connect with the people that just don't, it's not bad enough for them to see?
Yeah, I love that. Well, we talk about an addiction, the gift of desperation. And as you were talking about earlier, you can't really initiate that for somebody. Why would you want to? And so I think that, people who walk the path of addiction understand a language in a different way and have different eyes that they perceive reality with. And you change, just like you said, when you come into that crisis, though you don't have to. Right. And so some people will say that I've heard cancer saved my life. Right. So we could shove. And God, the universe, whatever you believe in, whatever your path is with that, loves you so much that it will confront you over and over and over and over again.
That which resist, persist.
Oh, it chases you. Me, right? I'll speak for myself. We're so loved that we're meant to be as free as possible. So we hit that edge, right? That breaking through. And we come to decisions.
Yeah. The terribleness that I run into with my clients so often, I'm sure you see it as well, is just like the blame, shame, and judgment of self-talk. right? It's just rampantly there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and it's interesting when you start just getting a conversation with someone and just start to vibe with them, and then start seeing how the language starts showing up.
Yes.
And when you start seeing like, where does that, you know, it's almost like it's like a one-to-one connection to subconscious thought process and how we see the world. I loved what you said earlier about codependency. Are you familiar with the 5 love languages? I'd like to have a little conversation with you about this because I think it just vibes with this conversation so well. Welcome back to Trauma Philosopher. We've got Ashley Coleman with us. She's talking about all the cool stuff that she's doing in recovery and in the spiritual space, the Reiki space, the yoga space. We were talking about being in like at the recovery houses and kind of dealing with that. How you've already given some of the information about your personal recovery from your aspects of self that needed to be healed, and we're constantly working on that. How did you go from the point in time where you're looking for like the refining of self, and then kind of being able to turn all of your attention into the recovery space and the other healing space? And you said you're now an ordained shamanic minister, which is super cool. What talk to us a little bit about that journey.
About how I turned my pain into my purpose, essentially, like how I moved from the wound to the healer, I guess. Totally. Well, I'm always still in that. Like you said, it always continues. I would say that once I found yoga, I got really turned on, lit up, and I became a teacher that same year. And so when I learned something, Aries style, when I learned something, I made a joke because Aries usually is just headstrong and I'm ready to go and let's do this.
Billy and I are both Aries, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. So when I learned something and hopefully embody it, that's the idea, right? You want to live what you teach and really have it running through your body. Knowledge lives in the head, wisdom lives in the body. So I got real excited about sharing the medicine. So it started with yoga, became a certified teacher in the same year, and I really just took off in these modalities. Learned energy medicine, really embodied that. If you know me, then you know I like to go as far as I can into different subjects. And so Reiki, shamanism, different philosophies from Zen to Taoism. So just immersing myself in that. And it colored my whole world. So this is not a hobby. This is like my whole world, to the point where at this point, I'm becoming more human than ever before. And I know I'm just going off right now, but coming back into just doing human things, because come to find out, you can be addicted to spirituality. Remember, it's the disease of more. So healing is balance. So I would say I pretty much right away started turning that into a purpose.
What do you find, what's the biggest surprising struggle that you've learned, or the biggest surprise about working in like the addiction recovery facility space? What's the biggest thing that caught you off guard, or like the thing that people just don't understand about it? Or, could you give us like an insight there?
Interesting question. Yeah, let me feel into that. So it feels like what I guess surprised me the most was from my personal, and this is a personal answer to your question, is how at home I feel.